All right, for those of you who don't know, my name is Forrest, and welcome to It's Quest Time. Now, before we get going, if I can ask you guys to stay clear of this, stage area, this way nobody blocks this big display behind me, gives me a little bit of room to move around, do the whole hosting thing, right? Also, if you guys could not send me any text messages while I'm up here, I'd really appreciate that, because when you're up here and you get this big text message in your face, it's like hitting a wall, except it's a wall of text, right? And it can really throw you off. So I'd appreciate it if you can hold off those comments until the end, or really the best way to get a hold of us is to, join our Discord. That's probably the best way to reach us. Okay, now also, if I could draw your attention to your menu wheel in your lower left there, you're gonna notice at the very top of it is a microphone icon. It looks kind of like this. All right, now when that microphone icon is clear, that means we can hear you and everything that's happening in your environment, right? And hear everything. Are you still on that thing? Well, go ahead and answer them, because we're not going to hear that. Likewise, if you have a barking dog in the background, you're not going to face social ruin all over Altspace by becoming known as the avatar that suddenly started barking during its quest time, right? But just because you're muted does not mean you can't express yourself. You're going to notice that you have a pink cheek smiley face in your menu wheel, and when you click on that, your emoji panel opens up, and it offers you a wide variety of which to express yourself, right? So if I share something really deep, something powerful and meaningful, and starts to build up inside, you can just let it out, just let it flow, just like that. Maybe I got some backup dancers backstage, right? And they come out and we break into It's Quest Time, the musical. You can throw up the applause I live for, and I can take a moment to drink it all in because it feels good, right? Maybe I ask you guys a yes or no question. You could say yes by smiling like this. You could say no by frowning like that. Maybe I say something funny. You want to show me that you're laughing. You can do the silly face emoji right here like that, right? And then there's this thing. This is by far the most distracting of all the emojis. I think we can agree on that. A giant hand sticking out of your head, right? Kind of distracting. So we're going to use this as kind of a signal, not to ask questions because we will be taking questions and comments at the end, but we were going to be using this as a signal. So if my voice goes choppy, I'm going to want to know about it. If maybe my moderators have had enough and they, light the screen behind me on fire, right? I'm going to want to know about it. And this is going to be our bond. This is going to be our pact, right? Now, you're also going to notice there's an X in the middle of this panel, and that will close the emoji panel, but it's a really good idea to leave it open during events like this, because it gives me feedback, it lets me know how I'm doing, but more importantly, it lets the people around you know what you're experiencing, right? So if the person next to you starts going like this, that means they found something funny, right? And you may not agree. You might be like, that's not funny at all. Let's with this guy. I'm going to go stand over here, and I can totally do that because this is VR, and I can stand wherever I want, except not right here, right? Because we agreed you guys wouldn't be standing on the stage. That's our pact, people. That's our agreement. All right, cool. All right, so, what's Quest Time about? Quest Time is an event where we're going to show Oculus Quest and Oculus Quest 2 users how to get the most out of Altspace on your device. All right, that's the basic premise there. But let me see what kind of crowd we're dealing with today while you still got those emoji panels open. How many of you are on a Quest 2 right now? Put your hands up or show me some emojis. Anybody? All right. Oh, okay, that's good. All right, how many of you are actually on an original Quest? Any original Quest users here today? All right, very nice. Excellent. Good. All right, let's see. How many of you are new to Altspace? Any new Altspace users? Let me see. Wow. Okay, cool. Welcome to Altspace. I think you're really going to like it. We got a lot of cool stuff in here. How many of you are new to VR? Any new people who are like relatively new to VR? All right, good. This is my kind of crowd. Awesome. All right, so Len, I was waiting for my Quest to arrive. Listen, I started out on an Oculus Go. And as you may be familiar, the Oculus Go has one controller, right? So, and when I was in Altspace and I was expressing myself, listen, I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, right? So I'm used to expressing myself with my hands. I talk with my hands a lot. All right, you can even see it now. I'm moving my hands around. But on Oculus Go, all anybody saw was my one hand moving around like this, right? And I didn't feel like I was expressing myself as fully as I could, right? So I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait for these, to get this other hand, right? I couldn't wait for that to come. And while I was waiting for it, right, I was looking around and, and when my first original Quest came, I took a look at the controllers and I'm like, man, that's a lot of buttons. It is. It's a lot to take in. So if you're brand new to it, it'll only take a couple of days to a couple of weeks to really get used to this. And if you're coming from an Oculus Quest, you're going to notice, right? Because when my Oculus Quest 2 arrived, I took another look at these buttons and I realized something. These are the same buttons. All right, the controls are practically identical. There's only two differences you need to be concerned about. The first one is on the left side of the control, right next to the buttons here, you have an area for your thumb to rest. All right, now on the original Quest, you would just place your thumb on the buttons or on the thumbstick, but there's a little area where you can put your thumbs here, and you'll actually notice when you touch it, your thumb goes down in VR. right? So it's another way to do it. Your thumb will also go down if you touch the buttons or if you touch the thumbsticks without pushing down, but this will actually lower your thumb in Altspace, okay? Also, the other difference is on the original Quest, you have a flat button down toward the bottom of the controller. This is now a concave button, all right? So I'm just going to refer to that as the bottom button, all right, on either controller, all right? And listen, if you are new to Altspace and you are new to VR, listen, I know the fact that you're here means you already know some stuff, all right? You know the left thumbstick's going to move you around like this. You know the right thumbstick's going to turn you in these circles here. When you combine them, you get these big, elaborate circles that make my presentation so much more dramatic. If everybody could just, go in these big circles here, this way when I look out, it's going to look like you guys are ballroom dancing. Let me see what you got, people. Oh, that's nice. Very fancy. Oh, you guys are a good crowd. Look at you guys. That's very fancy. I always say I wish you guys could see what this looks like, right? And if you stand in front of this rug here, you're going to go up on YouTube in a couple weeks. If you look out at Ravenhall, that's our YouTube camera, you can wave out and feel VR famous. Be like, hey, we're YouTube. How's it going? We got a lot of people in here. We've got Bulky Turnup. We've got Nathan. We've got Killian. We've got Acadian. And I'm being told my voice is choppy. Anyone else think my voice is choppy? Anybody? A little bit. All right. Okay. All right. So I'm going to try to re-enter the space that can help with that. I will be right back. This is like the Altspace equivalent of clearing my voice. Here we go. Okay. All right. Now let's see here. Now, as I was saying, hopefully that cleared things up. That cleared things up. The voice better there? Let me see. Anybody? Yeah. A little bit better. All right, good, excellent. All right, good. Like hearing that. That's awesome. All right, now the first button we're going to discuss here is, let me get my slides out over here. See if I can do that quickly, because like this, they take that away when you re-enter the space. I don't know why. Should just stay out. All right, here we go. All right, so the first button we're going to talk about here is this grip button right on the side of the controller, and over here too. Now this is how you're going to interact with your environment in Altspace. So you see those bean bags in the campfire? That's how you're going to grab one of those things, or those those rockets, or those paper airplanes that have in a campfire, all that stuff. Or maybe if my backup dancers will throw me some basketballs out, thank you. If you guys have never tried the grip button before, just aim at one of these basketballs here, and you can throw these around. If you've never tried it before, I just want to make sure you have a chance to to check that out. And listen, if you're having a room scale experience, right, you are going to notice that when you when you walk out past your main menu, that's usually the time somebody asks you to open your main menu. And you'll be like, look on your lower left, there's a blue and white triangle button. You're going to be like, I don't see it. What are you talking about? And they're like, it's right there on your left. And you look over and you're like, no, it's not there. I don't see it. Right? That happens a lot, and that can get kind of annoying, right? You have to remember that on a Quest and on a Quest 2, your main menu is in your hands at all times. On your left controller, down toward the bottom, you have this bottom button. And on the Quest 2, that's that concave button right there. It's a curved in, right? You can, pull down, you can kind of feel it with your thumb there. Whenever you press that, your main menu is going to open up in front of you, right? So you don't actually have to touch that blue and white triangle button on your lower left. You don't have to do that at all. You can just touch that button on your controller. So if you walk out past your main menu and you need to get to your menu, right, what I like to do is to combine this with a hand flick. I flick my hand out, and there, boom, my menu just opened. And then, boom, my menu closes, just like that. You don't have to do the hand flick. It's not going to make it work any differently. I just think it's cool to do. All right, now, on your right controller, next to the thumbstick, you have these two raised up buttons here. And this top one, that's your teleport button, right? Everyone give this a try. If everybody can come up along this wall right here, right, just stand up in a row right here, right? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to aim at the floor. We're going to hold down that teleport button. You're going to see a circle up here. That's your teleport target. So if we aim that across the room by that brick wall, as soon as we let go of that button, boom, we get thrown right across the room. It's a great way to get around. Everybody teleport over to me while there's still time. Also, you can squeeze your left trigger button in order to accelerate. When you're walking or flying, you're going to be able to go faster when you hold down your left index finger on the trigger there, right? So if you want, you can go into the room right now, go into a big circle here. Everybody try to make a whirlpool, everybody. Let's see if we can make, a tornado in here. Let's see how you guys are doing. Check your formation out. Let's see how much of a circle you guys are doing. That's pretty good, guys. It's usually it ends up looking like a figure eight, but that's a nice circle. Nice and tight, everybody. You guys are doing great. How many of you are dizzy right now? Anybody dizzy? Raise your hand up if you're dizzy. All right, one. If you're dizzy, you probably shouldn't do that thing. All right, just saying. All right, now, and you are going to notice that we are going to show you some strategies how to deal with dizziness if that happens to you. Okay. But you know what? Listen, and speaking of the going fast and the teleportation stuff, if you face the stage and you hold down that left accelerator button, right, and you go backwards and teleport at the floor, you'll go into the Altspace moonwalk, right? And I'm hoping that's not a copyright violation because that would be bad. All right. Also, another thing, one time I came down in the audience. You may notice I come down in the audience. I come down in the crowd a lot, right? And you may notice, all right, one time I came down here like that, and I'm surrounded by people, and I needed to get on a stage in a hurry. I don't know why I never thought to do this before, but what I did was I put my hand over my head, and I teleported backwards. Turns out that works. That's a thing. You can do that. Look at this. You go backwards just like that. And a lot of this stuff is going to come to you. You're going to pick it up over time. Like there's this one time I was at the Universe, and back then it was held in a really large world, right? And I walked up to the edge of the world when the event was over to explore it, right? And what happened was, as I'm looking, I fell off the world. And as I'm falling, I see there's a cliff off to the side, right? And what I did was I aimed out with my teleporter and I grabbed onto that cliff. It's not like you can get hurt in Altspace, but I saved myself from respawning, right? And, and I knew in that moment that I was finally starting to get used to the controls, and you will too. There's going to come a time where even though you're always going to feel the plastic in your hands, right? There's going to come a time when these actually become your hands. Like if I tell everybody, hey, look out that window right there. I'm not thinking about how I'm pointing. I just do it, right? It's automatic, and it will be for you too. And the way I'm doing that, if you don't know, is if you hold down your grip button, your hands are going to go into a point just like that, right? And you can combine this into a variety of things, right? You can maybe go like this, give everybody a Brooklyn hello. That's like how we do it back home. And like, give a little bit of how you doing, everybody? How you doing, guys? There you go. Look at you. All right. Now, if you put them together like this, you can make a triangle, make the Altspace logo. Show me some Altspace pride. Lift it up nice and high. Get a good stretch on. There you go. Oh, that's nice. Very good. All right. Now, you can also spin it around like this, kind of make sort of a picture frame, right? Then maybe you squeeze your trigger, get a little snap action going, be like, yeah, you're a great audience. Snap, snap. Right? How cool would it be to take a screenshot like that? I really wish they'd do that. Maybe you make like a field goal, like that, right? That'd be cool. If you squeeze your thumb, if you squeeze your grip buttons and then you squeeze your trigger buttons, you give me 2 thumbs up. Let me know I'm doing a good job up here, right? Or maybe not. Oh, that voice cracking was kind of less than professional. Give me 2 thumbs down, right? Or maybe you don't know yet and kind of give me a little bit of both, right? Kind of combine the two. Now, if you touch your thumbs to the thumbstick, or to the buttons, or to the thumb rest on the Quest 2, you're going to notice that your thumbs go down, and you can kind of combine this as you move it from side to side like this, kind of into like a dance, right? You can do some little Altspace dancing like that, right? That's pretty cool. And listen, the trick to this stuff is when you see somebody doing something you like, all you have to do is mirror them. One of the first Quest times we ever had, somebody came up to the stage and they started going like this, and I liked it. I thought it was cool, so I did it back. Right. And then the whole audience started going like this. We had a room of like 60 people going like this, and it was awesome. Right. And that's really the best way to pick this stuff up. When you see somebody doing something that you like, right, you do it too, and then that gesture will be yours. And after a while, you won't think about how to do these gestures. It'll become automatic. Watch me as I'm up here. Watch how my hands move. Right. You're going to see that I'll go into like these points, or occasionally I'll like make like little fists like this for emphasis. Right. And this is all part of body language. That's a big deal here. It really is. All right, what else do we have here? Oh, yeah, also, when I first came to Altspace on the original class, and this is also true for the Quest, you have to worry about your vertical height. I went to the campfire, and I couldn't figure out why I was taller than everybody else. Now, if somebody's willing to change their vertical height for me so I can show this off for those who don't know, all right? Anybody willing to, lift up a little bit? Here we go. All right, Nathan, come up a little bit closer so everyone can see you. All right, now, Nathan, show everybody what happens when you press down on your left thumbstick. Press down on the left thumbs, boom, just like that. See that? Right? Now, so if you find that you feel too tall or you feel too short, just press down on your left thumbstick like it's a button. The only thing you need to be aware of is this movement is attached to your head. So if you look down when you do it, you're going to find that your avatar pops up a little bit. If you look up when you do it, you're going to find that your avatar goes down a little bit, right? And this is you can make small adjustments to your height in this way. But if you want to be the same height as everybody else, right, the official height of an avatar, just look straight ahead and then press that left thumbstick, and you'll be fine. And then that'll adjust your height if you ever need to. All right, now there's another button you need to be aware of, and this is very important, but don't press it now because if you disappear, I'm going to feel it. All right, you're going to see on your right controller down toward the bottom, you have that that bottom button. You have to think of this as an eject button. This is the best route out of Altspace. So if somebody comes into your space and says, hey, dinner's ready, right? You're like, oh, gotta go. And you press that eject button. Then you're going to have a choice to quit or resume. Now this is great because if you press that button by accident and you say, you can resume, like you'll take you right back into Altspace like you never left. All right, but this is really the best way to close the app, in the event that something goes wrong, right? So let's say that I'm looking out the window there, right? And I turn my head back. And as I turn my head back, the whole world moves with me. Now, that can make you feel kind of dizzy, right, when that happens. So it's good to know how to get out of Altspace quickly in the event something goes wrong like that, right? Because if something's making you feel dizzy, making you feel sick, and you need to leave in a hurry, you just press that flat button, then press quit. And this is going to take care of most of your problems. But there are going to be times where, like, let's say I look out the window again, and now I see on the edge of my screen there's a black void. And I look over and I know the black void's on the right side of my screen. It's on the top. It's on the bottom. It's surrounding me. It's spreading. And all my friends are frozen in space like this, all dramatic, right? And something's gone horribly wrong. So I press that eject button and nothing happens. And then I'm like, Michael Forrest, you lied to me. I will have my revenge. But that's not what's going on. All right, what's going on is occasionally the app in your headset is going to freeze. That can also happen in other apps as well, and it pays to know how to deal with this, right? Now, when I first got my original Quest, I would take my headset off to restart it, right? And if your headset is, plugged in and it's not in a charge cycle and it's not lighting up and it takes a while to reset, you might think there's something wrong with your device, right? So I found it really pays to know how to restart your headset while it's still on your head. It can save you a lot of time. And the way you do this is you take your index finger, right? And you swipe it on the right side of your device until you feel that raised up power button, right? As soon as you do, you take your left index finger and you squeeze it together. This way you don't move your headset all over your face, right? I find it helps to look down like you're in a deep concentration pose, right? And after about 4 seconds, you concentrate so hard, your avatar disappears and you get plunged into darkness. But you don't let go. You hang on. You ride that out. And after about 10 seconds, right, go by, you start, wondering, why did Oculus make it take so long? I don't know. And 15 seconds go by, you start thinking about friends you haven't seen in a while. You wonder how they're doing. 20 seconds go by and, you start thinking about life, the big questions. And then 20-something seconds go by and all of a sudden the Oculus logo emerges out of the darkness like the bat signal. And you wait. And as soon as it starts to pulse, you take your fingers away, just like that. And then your device will restart. You didn't have to take it off, right? And this is going to solve most of the problems that you're going to have, not just in Altspace, but in other apps as well. It's a good way to reset everything. Occasionally, something more serious might happen, though. Right. And one time I was coming out of Altspace and I got this message that said Oculus Home is closing. And it was this button there to press OK. So I said, OK, and I pressed it. Right. And what happened was, there was this notice there on my screen. It just said loading. Right. I waited a couple of minutes and I'm like, something's gone horribly wrong. Right. So I did like I just told you, deep concentration pose. And when the device restarted, and what happened was I still had that loading that were right on the center of the screen. I'm like, there's something horribly wrong. So I asked my good friend Google about it. Google knows all the things. And Google said a lot of people were having this problem. And the best thing I could do would be a factory reset. And it's important to know that that's an option, but you have to know if you do that, any pictures that you have on the device you're going to lose. All right, you're going to have to re-download all of your apps. The good news is you won't have to pay for them again. All right, it's going to put everything back to the way it was when you first got it. All right, you are going to lose all of your preferences and your settings. You may even lose your Beat Saber scores. Okay, so this is serious business. You're going to have to start training again. You're going to have to go up against your friends. You're going to have to take them down all over again. Right, so only use this in the case of an emergency. Right, I'm seeing all the frowns going up. Right, yeah, you don't want to lose them Beat Saber scores, or it's only use this in an emergency. All right, now let's see here. Oh, I'm being told my voice is gone again. Oh, okay, well, I'm going to have to re-enter here. Let's try clearing it out again. That's going to happen lately in Altspace an awful lot.
Quit, nigga.
See if that took care of things. How's the voice now, everybody? We doing good? All right, cool. Oh, cool. All right, good. Excellent. All right, let me get my slides back out here because I'm kind of need those. All right, here we go. All right, now. All right. All right, excellent. And listen, if you're here today, you guys already know about the guardian system, right? You did the tour, you danced with the robot, you played with the plimp. That was a lot of fun, right? But what you can do, you may not know, is how to use the Guardian to your advantage in Altspace. Now, I like to tell people when they mess around with the Guardian system at all, it pays to lead with your hands. You don't want to get injured, right? A lot of times you'll see somebody walking along in Altspace and they look like they're having a good day, and then all of a sudden, bam, they hit a real world wall. Right, those real world walls are a minute menace, and they need to be stopped. Right, we're going to rise up and fight against those real world walls at all costs. Right, so it pays to lead with your hands, especially if you're new to VR. Right, and what happens is, let's say I walk, I'm getting dizzy in Altspace a lot, and let's say I walk up to my real world wall and I do it like I told you with my hands out. As soon as I get close, that grid appears in the air in front of me, right? And as soon as I see that grid, listen, I can still touch my thumbstick, so I can move my avatar around while I'm physically standing still in the real world, right? And what I can do is I can attach that wall to something big like this display here, right? And now that I'm kind of anchored to that display, I like to think of it as a reality anchor, right? And it kind of makes me feel comfortable, like I feel balanced and connected to it. Like if I go too far and I fall off the stage, I'm like, oh no, I'm in the audience. And let's say you guys aren't nice. Come over here and mess with me. Stick your hands in my face. Try to make me dizzy. Give me the worst that you got, people. And I'm going to keep on focusing on that screen, and I'm going to keep on talking. And you're going to notice I'm not losing my place. I'm not messing up my words at all. It's like you guys aren't even doing anything. And it's because as long as I can see that display, I'm fine, because I feel connected to the real world. And, just by being connected to that screen there, right? Now, another thing you're going to find, too, is you don't have to use something big like that. Maybe you've got a desk or a table in your real world environment. environment. You can line that up with the edge of the stage here, all right? And this is actually going to make you feel more balanced and more comfortable, especially when you're in VR. Even if you're not, listen, if you're not on a Quest, no matter what device you're on, one quick trick you can do, fastest thing possible, as soon as you feel dizzy in VR, take a good look at your hand. Now, look, I know that's not your real hand, but if you stare at it, right, and you focus on it, it can actually make the dizziness pass. And then when it does, slowly take your hand away and take in the world around you. All right. And you're going to find that really helps. And listen, if you keep feeling sick, come out of VR, and then come in later when you start feeling a little bit better, you eventually will build up a tolerance for it. It does take a little bit of time to get used to things. All right. Now, let's see here. Now, another thing you can do is you can actually switch between the room scale experience and the stationary experience pretty effortlessly in Altspace. So let's say I'm up here, right? And listen, I'm approaching my 500th event in Altspace. That's a lot. It's a lot of events, and I'm tired, man. I need to sit down. So what I can do is I can go up to the edge of my boundary, right? And make sure I got enough room for my head to pass through. And as soon as I stick my head through there, right, I notice through the Guardians there, I'm going to notice that my pass-through camera goes off and I can see the real world, right? Now, if you have the advanced features turned on, the early access stuff, you can do that double tap thing too, right? You go tap, tap, and all of a sudden your pass-through camera goes off and you can see the real world. And I got my coffee cup right there and I take a sip of that and I throw it down. I'm going to have to clean that up later. And then I notice I got my chair over here and I come on over and I go sit in my chair, right? And as soon as I sit down in my chair, what I'm going to find is I got a blue button asking if I want to have a stationary experience. I press on that blue button, right? And the grid comes up and I find that not only am I still in VR, but I'm still in Altspace. I never actually left, right? And the only difference is my avatar is going to be down here right now, right? Because I changed my vertical height. All I have to do is press down on the left stick, my avatar I can keep on going. And this works in the other direction too. There was one time I was moderating an event, right? And I felt like getting up and walking around. So I figured, I'll just get up and step into my Guardian. But sometimes on both the original Quest and the Quest 2, your Quest can lose your Guardian due to changing light levels, or for one reason it can't resolve where it is quick enough in your environment. So it'll say, "Oh, draw me a new boundary," which normally it's not a big deal, right? But when there's a couple minutes left in the event, it's a very big deal. So I start drawing out that boundary, right? And as I'm drawing it out, I'm like, why is my space so big anyway, right? And then let's see, I'm getting a text here, okay, from iPocto99 saying it kicked me out. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Pocto, but we'll be saving questions at the end, all right? Maybe see me after. All right, and I'm drawing out my new boundary, and I'm wondering why my space is so big, and with all the days to moderate for an admin, why did it have to be today, right? And as soon as I close that boundary up, right, you're going to find that the grid pops up out of the ground, right? And I'm still not only am I still in VR, but I'm still in Altspace. I never left. All right, and that's good to know, because this is going to be, means you can be comfortable. You can sit down, you have a standing experience, however you're going to be more comfortable, right? Also, let's see, another thing you can do, and this isn't, useful, just cool. If you go up to the edge of your Guardian system there, and you make sure you have enough room for your head to pass through, when you stick your head through it, you're going to find that you can see the real world, right? But if you do this super slow, you'll be able to see both realities at the same time. And this is cool, all right? Because you're going to get a sense for how tall avatars actually are in your environment. You really doesn't register when we're all in here together. You don't really know how tall everybody is until you see them in a familiar environment. Like, for example, avatars in Altspace are about 6 feet tall, and they're a lot wider than you might think. And that'll really, strike home when you see avatars in your living room or your office or wherever it is you VR from. Like I said, not useful, just fun. All right, now one of the great things about the Quest is it just works, all right? There are some accessories that make it work a lot better. This is normally where we talk about those things, but we are still assembling a list for Oculus Quest 2 accessories, and I want to hear about those, all right? If you're using an accessory for the Oculus Quest 2, I want to hear about that, right? If, for example, I'm seeing some frowns there, Cash. You want me to go over the original ones here? No? Okay. All right. Let's maybe find out what that's all about. What's going to happen now is you're going to find a raise hand button appear on your lower right as if by magic. It's true. That's what magic looks like in VR. If you go ahead and you press that raise hand button, we'll be taking your questions, your comments, and I do particularly want to hear about any Quest 2 accessories that you've tried. Like, I'm using right now the Elite strap. I think it's really great. All right, I don't think the original strap is very comfortable, but I have heard that some people say that the Elite strap is actually cracking on them, like it's actually breaking. All right, and I don't want to put that up and recommend that product until I know, it's actually good to use. Also, before I mention, the VR cover inserts, those are great. And if you want to try any of the products that we have recommended up there, what you can do is you go to altvr.com, and in the upper left, you're going to see a link for channels. Right now, when you press on that, you're going to notice, all these wonderful Altspace event channels, and down toward the bottom, not that that means anything, you're going to see Ravenhall events, like it says on that back wall there, right? And when you click on that, you get taken to our event page, and there you can join our Discord if you have any further questions after today, or you'd like to contact us, help us organize events like this. That's where we set all that up, right? Also, you're going to notice that there's all these products recommended on the left-hand side of the page there. Also, the most important button on the internet's there. It's true. That's where they keep it. It's a subscribe button, and when you press that, it lets Altspace know that you enjoy our content. And it encourages us to keep on going because we don't get paid to do this. And so whenever time we see that number, it makes us feel good. Makes us feel even better though when you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you are watching us out on YouTube, you'll find links in the description below. I see Texas Strangers trying to block the camera there. I don't know. That's not real nice. It won't work though, by the way. Just so you know, people tried. All right, so let's see. Who do we have here? Hopefully, let's see. We have. Let's see, Killian. Killian, you have a question or a comment or anything like that? You're on the air. What's going on, Killian? Where are you? There you are. No, maybe you pressed the button by accident? That can happen. All right, cool. Let's see here. We have Cash, 1486. Let's see, you're on the air. And I feel like a radio host. What's going on, Cash?
Hey, mate. Appreciate you hearing me. I've been looking on YouTube at this Franken Quest kind of upgrade for the headset.
Is that the one that looks like a helmet that wraps around and it's got the cups on the sides? Right?
Yeah,
speakers? Yeah. I looked at that thing. It looks cool. I'm looking forward to trying that. What do you think of it?
Well, I know nothing. I'm really new into VR. But it just looked like a fun upgrade maybe to look at doing. I was just going to ask whether it was easy for someone who's new into the Oculus world and the VR world to put together.
Because it depends on the level of your technical skill. Because like back when I started on the go, there was some really crazy modifications people used to do. They'd like glue heat sinks onto it, anything to bring the temperature down. That was the goal back then, right? So it really depends. I would say don't do anything you're not comfortable doing, and don't do anything that's going to void your warranty. All right. If it's an aftermarket product that you put on there, it's probably going to be fine. But if it involves like opening your Quest up and getting some kind of degree just to, just to lay out the parts on the table and play some Mission Impossible music, just to really add to the tension as you're clipping the wires going, it's the blue one. It's the blue one. That's probably not a good thing to do. I'm just saying, that's probably going to be an issue for you. All right.
I really appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Oh, wait, Cash, I got to know, why were you throwing up the frowns before? What was that about?
It's a bit awkward. I've got nerve damage in my hands, so sometimes I can have some invalidity. It was an accident.
Oh, okay. Wow, I never even considered that. Okay, no, don't be sorry. I just want to know. Like, I see somebody doing something like that. I'm like, why are they frowning? Is it me?
No.
All right, cool.
Sorry, man.
I got a hand up there. Let's see, Bell. No, if you press that raise hand button there, I'll be able to take your question. Okay, I got time for one more here. All right, so let's see. Press that button. I saw your hand go up like that, and the whole body language thing. Or maybe you're just saying, hey. All right, there we go. All right, you're on the air there. All right, what's up? You should be on there. There you go.
You can hear me, right? I got it.
I can hear you clear as day.
I got it. One of my friends was wanting to get into Quest, and they were wondering, like, would it be a good idea to start upgrading at the start?
Upgrading in what way? Like, you want to start out on a Quest, and he's thinking about getting a Quest 2, or?
He wants to get the Quest 2.
Okay. So upgrading in what sense?
Like comfortability.
Listen,
that the Quest 2 is very uncomfortable.
Yeah, this is the thing, all right? Listen, there's a lot of accessories that can make the original Quest work better, because the great thing about that product is it just works. The thing about the Quest 2, right, is these accessories, they're more like necessities, right? Some of them are absolutely necessary. All right. So there are some people that think the original strap is great. It's definitely worth trying. All right. But I've heard the Elite strap and the gaming strap with the battery pack. I've heard that those are very comfortable. All right. I think the Elite strap's amazing, personally. Right. I think the original strap, it digs in your ears a bit. You have to remember that there are swing arms, so there is some on the side, so there is some room to adjust it. That can make it more comfortable if you want to save a little bit of money and just try it out. But what I've heard is because of the elastic on it, people feel that the headset's a little bit loose. With the original strap. So really, it's a personal preference kind of thing. You definitely want to be comfortable, but tell your friend that there's a lot of additional products that you can get to really make it more comfortable. So after a couple of weeks of using it, it's like, I like VR, but I don't like the way that the headset feels on my face. Well, then check out VR Cover and get one of these inserts, and then you're going to feel like your face is in a pillow, and you're like, man, why didn't I do this a week ago? This is comfortable. I could take a nap inside my headset. It's awesome. All right, everybody. Around this time, what we do is we take everybody out flying at the Ravenhall Flight Academy. So if you're new to VR, you've never flown in Altspace before, all right, or you have any questions like that, what's going to happen is I'm going to push this button on this wall here, and when I do, you're going to see a Ravenhall Talon hovercraft fly down the street, go up over those trees and land in that backyard area. All right, and we're going to go out and we'll meet it and go out to the academy that way. And if you're wondering, if you came in late, if you're wondering what the Shark's all about, this is from our other event called It's Shark Time. It's a game show where we give away world building kits. It's a lot of fun. Come by Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. to check us out. You'll find this under the All section of your events tab of your main menu. All right. Now that being said, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to push this button. Everybody, direct your attention out the window and watch what happens.
Ravenhall Talon aircraft en route to your position.
Now that's a Ravenhall Talon hovercraft that you're seeing right there. And you can actually fly the ship if you like by coming out with me through this doorway here and join me outside as it comes in. And listen, if you've learned anything here today, please share it with those you come in contact with. You're going to find out, like if somebody says, oh, look at you, you're down in the ground. What's that about? And you're like, oh, I'm on a quest and I'm stuck in the ground. You tell them to press down that left thumbstick. They'll feel better and you'll feel better because you help somebody. It's how we keep this thing going. All right, here it comes, everybody.
Talon aircraft is now boarding outside for transport to the Ravenhall Flight Academy. Please exit the building and step into the blue light. Thank you.
All right, everybody, been a great audience. Thanks for coming. I'll see you next time.